Yep.
So, Representative Baker, let's talk about workforce development because that's an area where you're working, and then we'll go around the table on that topic. We did get some good news this week about some increase in employment after some news in the preceding months that perhaps was not quite so good. Maybe you could talk a little bit about workforce development issues and what legislative responses we're likely to see in this session on that topic.
I think almost every in the state government, in jobs and private industry, everybody is struggling with workforce. What do we do? How do we pay them appropriately? Right now, across the state, we're dealing with a lot of issues and bills, listening to a lot of very impassioned administrators and nursing home operators. We've got folks with group homes, and the list is endless about how can we make sure we have enough resources and reimbursements for these places like nursing homes and mental health facilities where they only get so much money based on the reimbursements from the Medicaid, Medicare payments. And we can't get that money to them fast enough because of the way inflation and the supply and demand for people have really taken up. And so we've got wings in nursing homes that are sitting there empty, and nursing homes then have a much harder time making the payments and purchasing the food. That's also another 30% higher than it was a year ago. So we're really, really struggling to make sure we get as much resources to our state employees that need those reimbursements right for, again, those kind of desperate situations we need to get there. I don't think we've ever seen such a shortage in every area, whether it's psychologists, nurses, nursing home cares, PCAs. It is quite something, and I don't think there's a hearing that goes by and a bill that doesn't go by without really some serious concerns about workforce and the work we need to do, and the funding we're going to have to get them, or our nursing homes are not going to be around.
Senator Weber, workforce development, your thoughts?
Well, certainly, I don't know that we've ever seen a time where every business is out there looking for workers. I mean, we have restaurants in my area that have always been open 7 days a week, and now due to a lack of help, they're closed 1 or 2 days just in order to be able to give people the time off, and they just do not have enough workers to cover all the shifts. And we see the same thing in our nursing homes. We see the same things in most all of our businesses. We have car dealerships and mechanic shops that are needing people. Which is just virtually every business is in need of workers. And part of it is, quite frankly, too, there's also a shortage of trained help, whether we're talking about mechanics, plumbers, electricians, carpenters. We really need to make sure that we have programs available that are for our young students who are going out of high school and maybe even starting during high school that help train them. I think we have reached a point where everyone recognizes if someone needs a 4-year degree, we need to make sure that they're prepared to go off to college and pursue that 4-year degree. But we also need to make sure that there are opportunities for our students in high school and as they leave high school to have good training in 2-year programs, for example, in the career vocational avenue. And there are many good jobs out there. There are many needs for these people. And certainly we need to make sure that we offer that whole spectrum of opportunity.
Senator McEwen, I'm guessing that Duluth is in the same position as our other communities on workforce development. Your thoughts on that issue?
That's correct. I think as my colleagues here have discussed in some good detail, we have a workforce shortage across the board. It's true. And there's a lot of things that we can do to address that. We can, as Senator Weber was talking about, really encourage programs to help people get into the trades. There's a real shortage of workers in the trades and a lot of opportunity there. Not everybody wants to or needs to or should go for a 4-year degree. That's absolutely correct. People should, there's lots of different options for younger people after high school. So really exploring and developing the array of opportunities. But, one of the things that I think our work shortage really speaks to right now is the wealth disparity that we have in our society. Right now, we're in a situation, I think, especially post-pandemic, where we really are seeing the effect of people having in some ways, because of the pandemic, not able to work at home or scraping by, working part-time, figuring things out, and really doing a reassessment of what their labor is worth, what their time is worth, and realizing that, getting paid $13 an hour, it's just not going to cut it any longer, right? And we've heard from a number of employers too, up locally in Duluth. I've heard this from our nursing homes and care centers, and in other areas too, childcare, that those positions are very give very low pay, not necessarily out of the choice of the people running those centers. They just don't have the funding. They'd like to pay people more. We need to pay people more, because a lot of the time now people can just look and rightfully say, this is very hard work. It is very hard work, the caring professions. And people do it because they love it. But at some point, you can understand why somebody might look over and say, if I get a job at the local fast food place or whatnot, I can go and make $17, $18 an hour, which is great. I'm glad we're seeing those wages go up, but we also have to make sure that we keep pace with that, with this wage correction. People need to live. They need to thrive. They need to be able to pay their bills, to support their families. And so we need to make sure that the state keeps pace with where we're going in that correction.